So what we are doing, just to give you a brief overview, we don't step in all the details, we will share the slides afterwards anyway. We are going to build up a CloudingSME portal, which is empowered by Promise at Service, which is a Luxembourgian company who are providing services in the area of knowledge management. And we have two areas. On the supply side, we have the consortium of CloudingSMEs. Does it work? We have the consortium here. So here we have the consortium. We are working close together with cloud experts in the area of tutorials and trainings, certification organizations as well. Also with consultants who are providing local services in terms of knowledge transfer and supporting the transition into the usage of cloud services. And of course, we are closely linked to cloud computing service providers, as Eurocloud is the association of cloud computing service providers. Also together with content and solution providers. And we identified finally 4 pillars which are relevant to address the needs, like ongoing communication in terms of promoting events, also local workshops, project news, press releases, newsletters, and of course, and this is very important, questionnaires to understand the real needs of the SMEs and to understand the barriers they identified to get access to cloud computing services. We promote, of course, a lot of white papers, but they must be readable by the SME community. It doesn't make sense to just provide technical terms. It must be understood by the community, together with document library and, of course, best practices, which is the most convincing part. When anyone out of such a community understands that a competitor, especially, utilizes cloud computing and shows the advantages, this is also a good shift to consider to use cloud computing in the future. And of course, certifications, because none of the SMEs have the expertise and the skills to identify all the risk areas and the compliance areas, and they need help, which is underlined by certifications, as, for example, described by ENISA, which will be published in a couple of months out of the working group which Ken Ticotel initiated or announced the CSIC, Cloud Select Industry Group certifications, as well as SLAs and Code of Conduct. So then, in terms of solutions and answers, we have to provide solution patterns together with blueprints, templates for assessment of cloud computing vendors as part of the vendor choice process, address Q&As, and if applicable, also teleconsulting. So we might consider to offer certain slots where we have some experts online, and the community can ask the expert immediately and get immediate response. This can be channeled through this portal. And then to support during the decision process, to evaluate different offerings, how is it applicable for the own purpose in terms of cost-benefit analysis, cloud provider selection in general, providing scorecard support, which might be different. It's not just a simple scorecard. We have to identify the KPIs of a SME to make a decision. And also a set of service catalogs, so just what is the offering in the market. You can see a lot of service offerings with up to 5,000 SaaS offerings, but you don't know what is behind it. So we might help to understand, we would like to provide more transparency about these service offerings, just in terms of SME needs. So this is the overall picture we are going to prepare. And we are looking forward to launch the first portal version already this year, might be in November timeframe, and then we go from there and extend it with all the material we have collected during the last 3 and 4 years. So what are some sample assets are templates for model contracts and service level agreements, guides to data protection issues, which is an ongoing discussion, overlaid by the NSA scandal and so on. So we have to provide more transparency in this area. Financial model calculators, so spreadsheets, as well as web-based ROI calculators to get an understanding about the costing model, the total cost of ownership, which is also a critical part. And then catalogs of vendors and service providers to channel service providers who are offering applicable services to the SME community. And we have some tangible results according to the EU. We have to build up and support a sustainable pan-European SME community. So it's not just offering static information. We want to have the interaction with the SMEs. We have to provide vision documents reflecting the common voice of SMEs in terms of cloud computing issues. This is based on questionnaires and interviews and workshops we are performing with SMEs. We have to build up a real strong SME community and provide support and training through the multilingual SaaS Promise platform. So we start in English, but we have planned to disseminate all the content in 8 different languages. We have not yet made the final decision about the languages, but we have access to the translation engine of the EU as well as built-in functionality for translation. So we're looking forward to provide all the material in the local language of the SMEs. And then a catalog of best practices. As you can see this evening, we have the award ceremony. This is already a good baseline for best practices, for solutions and projects from the customer point of view as well. And this includes best practices from the demand as well as from the supply side, because we are also supporting SMEs on the supply side. This is a key mission of Eurocloud, to European cloud ecosystem. We are pretty aware that we have large international providers, but as the EU also states, are we looking forward to use the cloud or be part of the cloud in terms of, are we just consumers, or can we build up our own cloud services as part of the European economy? And then the dissemination part, awareness raising campaign about the various activities. We have a clear goal in 2 years to get linked to up to 90,000 SMEs across over Europe, to get their voice, their understanding, and to support them with their needs to get access to cloud computing. We know this is a very challenging part, but we take this. Thanks for your attention. The complete consortium is UEAPME, which is the head associations of all small and medium enterprises. I think they have around 12 million enterprises in their overall network, together with Promise at Service at Luxembourg. Katerina is there as well. Eurocloud, EBS from Greece, PinSME out of Brussels, CloudZone, which is a huge fair in Karlsruhe for cloud computing services, BitMe and Echipa. So this is our team, and if you have any questions, just get in touch with me. Thank you very much.
It's not correct to talk about only SMEs without talking about entrepreneurs and talking about startups, which is, in my view, sometimes forgotten when we're talking about the economy in Europe. And when we are talking about cloud computing, definitely we have to talk about innovation, we have to talk about new companies. And that's where Cloud Catalyst focuses. Initially, we had a broader goal in the project, but after some talks with the European Commission, we have decided to focus our main goal on the entrepreneurs and on startups, especially because as Andreas already told, we have this CloudingSME project in which Eurocloud is also a partner. So we are really keen in trying to figure out how we could start making some synergies between both projects. And I think that Eurocloud will have a very important role there. So starting from the project background, this is something that you all know. The European Commission is heavily working on a possible strategy to move towards a more cloudy European economy. There are a lot of projects going on. We have just heard Linda talking about the Cloud for Europe project, which we all know that is a flagship for Europe. There's a lot of opportunities for new entrepreneurs, for new startups, laying down on this ecosystem, and we have to push them towards the opportunities being identified. And all the partners that are on the consortium, and I will talk about that on the end of this presentation, have already a lot of work on cloud. So Cloud Catalyst is like a bridge between all that works. So the major goal of cloud computing, the Cloud Catalyst, obviously, is to help foster the adoption of cloud computing on Europe. Those were our initial goal, and as I have said, we have narrowed our goals to be more focused on entrepreneurs, and this is in a very simple way our strategy. Okay, we would like to work closely with research centers, with SMEs, and with incubators, trying to figure out where is the new Google, the new Facebook, things like that. I was talking with João Dolores from Portugal Telecom, who is also participating in this project, about Linda presentation, and it was very nice to see that all the big names that he has presented as examples of cloud were all names from outside Europe. So hopefully, thanks to Cloud Catalyst, we will be able to find the next Facebook or things like that. The two main instruments that we are looking for to develop on Cloud Catalyst are this Cloud Accelerator Toolbox, and I will explain a little more what we are talking about this, and this Go to the Cloud Support Service. Those are fancy names, and we are very proud of that names. And hopefully, in the end, we have the idea, we have these two instruments that we are aiming to develop in the project, and in the end, we hopefully will find new and innovative solutions, and hopefully also future startups. As I was saying, we are aiming to work closely with entrepreneurs, researchers, software developers, always in partnership with incubators and agencies that are already in the field working with them. And obviously, our second main goal is to increase the awareness of what could be the impact of cloud computing in new companies, in developing new business. I'm not talking only about new cloud products. I'm also talking about, for instance, a company that is willing to develop a project in health area or something like that. Our goal is to help that company identify how cloud computing could help them, for instance, to build a more agile ICT platform, or to help the ICT platform that they will need for business to growth at the same pace that their business is going. So we are not only focused on the new cloud computing provider, but we are also aiming to work with other entrepreneurs and trying to help them identify these opportunities that are on cloud computing. Having that said, we have what we would like to say indirect targets and our direct targets. Our direct targets, as I've said previously, are researchers, obviously all type of entrepreneurs, and also cloud providers, in order to identify these new ideas that could be transformed in consumers, which will have access to new innovative products, and obviously business developers from SMEs that would also be helped by the results of the Cloud Catalyst project. So the consortium, the project is led by Portugal Telecom. Aerocloud has worked closely with Portugal Telecom, developing the content of the proposal, together with the University of Madrid and the SE Mobile from Slovenia, and also uptake. Uptake is an incubator from the University of Porto, and has recently received a prize from the European Commission as an excellent example of how to develop new startups and to develop innovative products. Just as an example, uptake was able to help 105 companies to being developed in the last 5 years, and more than 1,000 new jobs, qualified new jobs in Porto. So they have an interesting track record, and they are really very keen in working with the consortium towards this project. Just to have a small detail about what are those instruments that we are planning to build together on Cloud Catalyst. The Cloud Accelerator Toolbox will be a set of guidelines, will be a set of best practices, very focused on incubators, and very focused on agencies that are used to work with the entrepreneurs. And what we are planning to do is to have these guidelines and these best practices as a tools for developing boot camps and for developing sessions with the entrepreneurs. As I've said, always focusing on the impact of cloud on their ideas and on their business. Go to the cloud support service. Usually, we would like to see this as an offline and as an online service. Okay, the cloud accelerator toolbox will be an offline tool, as I've said, the guidelines and the best practice that could be used by the incubators to have these offline on the field sessions. And the go to the cloud support service will be an online services, a more light version of the cloud service toolbox that could be used directly by an entrepreneur, by someone that would like to develop this new business on cloud or boosted by cloud, and through some wizards and through some dynamic tools, they will be guide. In order to find the best solution. For instance, we could start by in which area are you planning to work, and the entrepreneur could say, okay, I'm planning to work on health. Okay, if you are planning to work on health, in which country? Okay, if you are planning to work on health in Germany, there are a lot of rules that you have to be careful. That's the type of things that we would like to develop on the go to the cloud support service. And that's it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you. João Dolores from Portugal Telecom. I think the obvious question here is you presented two projects, one more focused on the demand side, one more focused on the supply side. Is how do you see these two projects acting together and producing benefits for SMEs in Europe as a whole?
On the first hand, the EU would like to see these two projects independent, of course, because there's each of the teams, they have their own strategies, they have their own connections, and of course it is always a multi-line access to provide the uptake in the cloud community for the cloud computing community in Europe. Of course, we all work together to prepare ground papers, knowledge which can be reused, and of course all the work we are doing within the European Commission in all the Cloud Select industry groups is shared across the two projects, because this is our baseline where we have to go. But then we have to think about different strategies to access the community. And you're right, we are also seeing that Cloud Catalyst is a little bit more focused on the supply side, and CloudingSME more on the demand side due to the setup of the consortia. And you can be sure that we will meet and exchange continuously, at least in the Eurocloud interlink, and try to share resources. But generally, these are two independent projects. They have their own goals, and they have to go with their own strategy. And then finally, 2 years later, we will match the results, and probably then we can join forward together with a common approach after the initial funding phase, because we are really looking forward to have a sustainable project, and then we can merge all the ideas and assets and strategies and the community which has been built up together, because I'm really convinced that we need a joint approach, of course, in the future.
Just to have a small note regarding this, because we have here a problem, which is a formal problem, because we are two different projects. When we were negotiating with the European Commission these two projects, we were invited to redesign some of our goals in order to be more aligned. And honestly, I think that this will be a big challenge for Eurocloud as a central hub for disseminating the results of this type of projects. We are also in Movies project, which is another one in which Eurocloud is probably to be present. So I think that for Eurocloud, which will be a great challenge, but I think that
we are sitting together. So. No competition at all. Okay, thanks. Any other question?